Hello friends, I am Dr. Sharat Shankar Gaikwad, Assistant Professor in Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nasik. I welcome all of you in the MSc Second Analytical class. The subject code CCTP8, that is CHA 391, Analytical Method Development and Extraction Technique. In this subject, we learn about the section second, that is analytical extraction techniques. In this lecture, we introduce the section second and start the topics. The analytical method development and extraction techniques. In this analytical extraction technique having the five major topics, in which first one, that is the pre and post extraction consideration. Second, classical approach for aqueous extraction. Third one, solid phase extraction, solid phase micro extraction, and last, solid liquid extraction and micro extraction. The whole section is depending on the analytical extraction techniques. For this section, the references is given by the Savitribai Phule Pune University is the extraction techniques in analytical science by John R. Dean. Second reference, Google textbooks of qualitative chemical analysis. And third one, solid phase micro extraction, a practical guide. In this first chapter, we learn about the organic compounds of interest, pre-sampling issue, sampling strategy for solid, liquid and air sample, then chromatographic method of analysis and sample pre-concentration method. In the second, classical approach for aqueous extraction, in which we learn about the liquid-liquid extraction, theory of liquid-liquid extraction, in which distribution ratio and coefficient ratio, solute remaining unextracted, percent extraction, separation factors, factors fluorine solvent extraction, quantitative treatment to solvent extraction equilibria, selection of solvent, solvent extraction, problems with liquid-liquid extraction process, and purge and trap for volatile organics in aqueous sample. Example of solvent extraction, in which estimation individual metals like copper, barium by solvent extraction process and their problems. In the third, solid phase extraction, in which introduction of solid phase extraction, types of solid phase extraction medium, solid phase extraction formats and apparatus, methods for solid phase extraction operation, solvent selection, factors affecting on solid phase extraction, selected method of analysis for solid phase extraction, applications of normal phase extraction, applications of reverse phase extraction, and ion exchange extraction with applications of molecular imprinted polymers and their automation and online solid phase extraction we have to learn in the solid phase extraction. In the solid phase micro extraction, that is SPME, in which theoretical consideration, experimental methods, methods of analysis, in which solid phase micro extraction coupled with gas chromatography, and solid phase micro extraction coupled with high performance liquid chromatography with MS. Automation of solid phase micro extraction and its applications, and new developments in micro extraction techniques. In the last, solid liquid extraction and micro extraction, in which classical approach, introduction, Soxhlet extraction, automated Soxhlet extraction and other approaches, pressurized fluid extraction, in which introduction, theoretical consideration, instrumentation, method development and its application, and last micro assisted extraction, in which instrumentation and applications. If you consider this section, in this section the extraction is the major point. Whenever we have to think about the extraction, we learn or output of this section is you have to extract the compounds by using these methods. These are the methods: classical, solid phase micro extraction, solid liquid extraction, micro extraction. These all are the methods which is we have to learn one by one. So we start from first, that is the pre and post extraction consideration. In this lecture we concentrate on the pre and post extraction consideration, in which we learn about the introduction, organic compounds of interest, pre-sampling issues, sampling strategies for solid, liquid and gaseous samples or air samples, chromatographic methods of analysis like gas chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography and sample pre-concentration methods. So very first, what is extraction? Then what is POPs? Organic compounds from various matrices. So the extraction is the process of selectively removing a compound of interest from a mixture using a solvent. That is nothing but the extraction. What is the purpose of extraction? It is a principal method for the isolating compounds from the material. So whatever the section is in which we have to study about the only isolation or extraction, isolation of compounds of interest. So which types of compound we have to interested for the extraction? That is the POPs. POP is nothing but the persistent organic compounds. Where it is present? It is present in the soil, it is present in the air, it is present in the liquid, or it is present in the foodstuff also. So major, that is the organic compound. Organic compounds which we have to extracted from these materials. So what types of organic compounds is present? It may be the simple aromatic cyclic structure like BTEX. So what is meant by the BTEX? B stand for the benzene, T stand for the toluene, and E stand for the ethyl benzene, and X stand for the xylene. This is the simple aromatic cyclic structure compounds we have to extracted. From this we have to go for the larger molecular compounds like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons or polychlorinated benzenes. We can see in this chart the aromatic hydrocarbons, chlorinated aliphatic hydrocarbons, chlorinated aromatic hydrocarbons. These are the simple benzene, ethyl benzene, phenol, toluene, xylene, para-xylene, meta-xylene, like this. And these are the chlorinated aliphatic hydrocarbons, that is benylene chloride, carbon tetrachloride, chloroform, and these are the aromatic chlorobenzene, chlorotoluene. These are the organic compound of interest we have to extracted from the materials. So what types of problems or issues we have to tackle at the time of analysis? That is the pre-sampling issues. It may be the physical setting, environmental setting, industrial site and recent site history, qualitative risk assessment, site, then any previous site investigation, calculation and recommendation. Why we have to do this? Because these are the important parameters. Without this we cannot go for the analysis. Next, these are the some points in which we have to think before start the extraction or before start the analysis. So do you have permission to obtain the sample from the sites? So we can think about, we have to analyze the soil sample from any farm, but first we have to give the permission or obtain the permission from that farmer to analyze that site. Like this, these are the some questions we have to answer first this and then go for the analysis. It is specified sampling equipment for requirements. If so, do you have access to it? And if not, you can obtain the equipments and from whom. If you have to analyze this or collect the soil sample, for that purpose you have to have the particular equipment to collect that soil, or you have to access that equipments, or what types of strategy you have to decide for the obtaining that sample. Then how many samples will it be necessary to take? If you have to take the soil sample, it may be the 10 gram, 20 gram, 100 gram, 1 kg or 200 kg. First we have to decide that and then you go for that sampling strategy. What soil, water or air testing is required? If you have to analyze any organic compound, so which types of sampling? It may be, if it is soil sample, then you have to select the soil. From it is water, then you have to select the water. If it is from the air, then you have to select the air. First we have to decide that. Then what instrumentation is available to do the testing on? Suppose you have to obtain the permission, then you have to sample equipments for the collect the sample. You have to collect the necessary sample from soil, water, whatever. Then what the next? You have to only collect that, but which types of analysis you want, that types of instrument is available with you or your lab. First you have to decide. Then is the instrumentation limited with respect to the sample size, that is mass or volume? Does the sample size the analytical measurement? What quality assurance produces are available? Has a protocol been developed? What types of containers are required to store the samples and do you have enough of them? Then do the containers require any pre-treatment or cleaning prior to use, and will this be done in time? And last, is any sample preservation required? If so, what is it and how might it impact on the analysis of the contaminants? These are the some questions before going to the analysis or collect the sample you have to ask, and then you have to go for the analysis. So these are the pre-sampling issue before going to the sampling. That is nothing but the pre-sampling issues. So sampling strategy for solid, liquid and air samples. First, pre-issue, then you go for the analysis, then you first select the strategy regarding this point, that is the selection of the sample points. How many sample point you have to select, or where is the site? Then size of the sample area, then shape of the sample area, number of sample units in the sample site, then it is random or uniform. All these are first you have to select and then go for the collection of that sample. These are some practical aspect of soil sample, liquid sample and air samples. Suppose consider you want to collect the soil sample. For the collection of soil sample, you have to need some equipments. These are the equipments which is used for the collection of samples, soil samples. For that, These two equipments, which is important for the collection of soil sample. First one, that is this is the agar, and second one, that is the trowel or screw. These are the two equipments which is used for the collection of sample from the depth of soil, that is the minimum 10 centimeter to the 100 centimeter. The soil sample once gathered, you should be placed in the geological soil bags or polythene bags. You cannot collect it on the any other bags. You have to collect that soil sample by using the geochemical soil bags or polythene bags. It is sealed and clear label with the permanent marker with the site name, or you can use the number as 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to give the description that one is taken from this side, slide 1, side 2, side 3. Then that sample you have to collect, which is transport to laboratory, and it is dried. Drying is normally done by placing the sample in the drying cabinet that allows the airflow at a temperature less than 30 degrees Celsius. When you have to collect the soil sample, you have to dry that soil sample. The temperature, it is less than 30 degrees Celsius. Why it is? Because in the higher temperature should not be used for the sample content organic compounds to prevent the premature loss of compounds under investigation. If you have to heat the sample or give the temperature more than 30, the organic compounds may be vaporized, or it may be the premature sample will be lost. To avoid that loss, we have to dry that soil sample less than 30 degrees Celsius. After that, drying process is for the 48 hours. After 48 hours, that sample, air dried sample, we have to filter by using 2 mm diameter holes. After that, remove the stones, large roots, and other unwanted material. That sample is gets divided into the sub samples, and from that sub sample we have to select this representative sample with cone and quaternary methods. So what is mean by the cone method and what is mean by the quaternary methods? You have to cone methods and quaternary. In quaternary method, the 4 equal parts are taken. Out of these 4 equal parts, 2 are opposite are get rejected, and again 2 is collected. Again you have to collect, make a 4 part of that 2 core, and again you have to collect rejected 2 opposite side. That means if you have to collect the 10 kg of sample, out of that 10 kg sample, in the quaternary method 5 kg sample get rejected, remaining is the 5 kg sample. After that 5 kg sample, we have to again rejected the 2.5 kg sample, remaining 2.5 kg sample, in which again rejected the 1.25 kg sample. That 1.25 kg sample, you have to again rejected that half portion, and that half portion you have to use as a representative sample, because that 10 quaternary method, in which the 10 kg sample containing the organic compounds that may be extracted into that representative sample. That's why the cone method or quaternary method is used for the representative sample for extraction or subsequent analysis. Next, that is the water samples. So water sample can be classified into many types. Water sample, we can see this, say that the surface water, like river, lakes, rainflow, etc. Then groundwaters or spring water, you can say that the wastewater, saline water. These are some names in which the liquid sample or water sample is present, or we can say that is the water sample or liquid sample. So water sample we have to collect it by using this device. In this device we can see that this is the supporting flame, that black color is the supporting flame. This is the plastic tubes in which both end are open, that is the upper and this is the lower spring. When you have to dip in the water, this end are get, first it is closed. By using the supporting flame we have to insert this device into the water. After that these two ends are get open, in which the water are get placed by upper side or lower side both, and then this end are get closed, and that sample you have to collected. Then this sample, water is often an heterogeneous substance with both spatial and temporary variation. So what is meant by the spatial and what is meant by the temporary? The spatial variation occurs due to the stratification within the lakes due to variation in flow, chemical composition and temperature, and temporal variation is occurs when with respect to the times or seasons. Seasonal variation or seasonal changes is occurs. Then next, that is the air sample. This is the most interesting for the sampling of air, in which you can see in this figures, this is the device for which is used for the air sampling. This is the sorbent material. The sorbent material which is used for the air sampling collection. In this sorbent material, before and after there is the glass wool, and this is the sealed cap. When it is open in the air, the organic compounds, it may be the transfer from this, and that sorbent material having the capacity to absorb that organic compounds, or we can say that the sorbent which provides the active sites for the chemical and physical retention of the material. That sorbent tube sampling volatile and semi-volatile organic compounds are pumped from air and trapped on the surface of the sorbent. Quantitative sampling is possible by allowing the measured quantity of air to pass through the sorbent, and then sorbent tube is then sealed and transferred back into the laboratory for the analysis. The organic compounds collected are either volatile or semi-volatile. They will be analyzed by gas chromatography. They will be analyzed by the gas chromatographic. These are the air sampling. In this way we have to see the sampling strategy for solid, liquid and gaseous materials. So in the next, that is the chromatographic methods of analysis for the gas chromatography and liquid chromatography. All of you know that the chromatography in which gas chromatography in which the gas is the movable phase and solid is the stationary phase. This is the schematic diagram of typically gas chromatograph, in which this is the syringe. Here we can see the injection port. This portion, that is nothing but the column. This back of that column there is the O1, and this is the detector. Here the temperature controller unit, this is the computer, and from this we have to generate the chromatogram. Whatever the sample we have to analyze, for example we have to analyze the air sample. whatever the organic compound is present which get disabsorbed in this syringe, that get injected through this, and in this column they get separated and we got such a types of chromatogram. Here this is the syringe, this is the syringe, this is the large view of that syringe. Here is the injection port, this is the septum, this end toward the column, carrier gas flow, and to valve for the split and splitless. In the gas chromatography, two mode is used, one is the split and another one is the splitless. So split and splitless, these are the two important parameters which is used for the gas chromatography. In the splitless or injection or split injection mode, splitless mode, all the injected sample is transferred to the column, whereas in the split mode only the portion of sample are passed through the column. Splitless means if you have to inject the 1 microliter sample, they are all comes towards the column and then get analyzed. If in the split modes, only some parts of that 1 microliter sample get analyzed. In this gas chromatography, this is the oven. In that oven, the temperature program is done from 70 degree to 120 degree depending on the column. Here in the gas chromatography, the capillary column is used. This is the interface. That interface is nothing but, if you have to use the only gas chromatography, the detector which is used as a mass, then the connection with that GC unit and mass unit, that is the interface, and that interface maintain the temperature, because in the oven or gas chromatography the temperature is high. That high temperature, the molecules comes to the detector. In the gas chromatography mass spectrometry, the quadrupole mass analyzer is used. This is the quadra means 4. These are the 4 ports in which whatever the sample is moving from that column, it comes towards this ion source, and from that ion source it strikes to that detector, that is the quadrupole, and from that quadrupole, those having sufficient mass to charge ratio, they are reached to the detector and we can form the chromatogram. This is the gas chromatography mass spectrometry analysis. Next, that is the chromatographic method of analysis by using the high performance liquid chromatography. Though all of you know that the high performance liquid chromatography in which the mobile phase is used. Mobile phase is used, and that mobile phase is liquid, or we can say the organic solvent is used as a mobile phase, in which organic solvent, typically methanol or acetonitrile, is used, and water, that is the buffer solution, is used. In this mobile phase is normally filtered and degas, and prior to the pump to the column by piston pumps. This is the column, this is the pump. Here the solvent reservoir or solvent bottle is placed. From this, the column solvent is passed through this column, and then it is goes to the detector, and this is the important part, that is the injection valve. And this injection valve having the such a types of function, that is, this is in the load position and this is in the injection position. In the load position, if you can see that this is the syringe is collectively comes to this and then goes to the waste. This is the load position. When it get injected, at that time the position get change. The pump front, and this is the sample loop. Pump front and sample loop. In the HPLC or high performance liquid chromatography, ultraviolet, that is the UV detector is used, and mass spectrometry detector also used for the HPLC. When it is coupled with the mass, then the HPLC MS, that is the high performance liquid chromatography with mass spectrometry. Then last point, that is the sample pre-concentration methods. In this sample pre-concentration methods, these are the two important methods, that is the rotary evaporator, and this is the second first one is the gas blow down method. Then schematic diagram of evaporation concentration. This method in the automated evaporation concentration unit, in which the solvent reservoir is placed here. Then this is the Teflon. From this we can collect this. This is there. Here is the heater, and this is the distillation outlet. We have to collect the sample. Here the nitrogen inlet, and most of the time this rotary evaporator is used for the pre-concentration of sample. In this way, in this lecture we only think about the organic compounds of interest. What is the pre-sampling issue, sampling strategy for the solid, liquid and air sample, chromatographic method of gas chromatography and high performance liquid chromatography, and sample pre-concentration methods. This is the brief view of pre and post extraction consideration. In the next lecture we have to start simple pre and post extraction techniques, and then we go for the solid phase extraction techniques. So thank you.